Ava Max, the singer known for being basically having one huge hit with "Sweet But
Huge.
Psycho." And this is a huge hit. Dropped in 2017, went number one in 22 countries across the world, including the UK, Australia, Germany. It got to number 10 on the US Billboard
Mm,
charts. Never got to number one here, but that
yeah.
was really like, I mean, she had dropped a couple of singles here and there, a couple of songs, but that was really like her coming out party, right? And then
Hmm.
it's been 3 years. We're finally getting the debut album from her. Expectations probably fairly high going into this. Were your expectations met?
Yeah. Um, Good question. I would say no. No, they probably were not met because it's really hard to match something like Sweet But Psycho, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's nearing a billion plays because it's a really infectious, catchy pop song that's really well made. A chorus that uh, it just gets stuck in your ear, right? And we'll talk about a movie that used that in a drop later on. Like it's a hit for a reason. And when you have something so ubiquitous like that, and that being the one thing you're known for because you kind of struggled to find a sound within the mainstream music industry before that song came out, uh, people probably don't have an idea of what kind of artist you are still. They just know that song. And they might not really even know it was by you, right? So I think Ava Max had a lot to achieve with this new album. And I think you can probably tell with the lack of success in the States anyway, with those subsequent singles leading up to this album, that she's still kind of finding a way to find that identity. And it's kind of interesting to see that she's a successful artist, quite successful artist in Europe, but just it really hasn't hit that much here, except in the case of Sweet But Psycho, which just couldn't be denied. But still,
Right.
that took like over a year basically to become a big hit here. So, yeah, I mean, I think this album, I wanted to be, I kind of have similar thoughts to Katy Perry. I wanted it to be weird. I wanted to try more. It felt kind of safe.
It did feel a little bit safe. Heaven and Hell, the that's which is the title of the album. I don't know if we've mentioned that yet. Is interesting because I think in a lot of ways the theme kind of does hold throughout. She refers back to it in a lot of the tracks even have like the words heaven or hell in them. But I almost feel like, um, I almost felt like she feels like an artist who might be more mature than her music lets on in a way. Like I felt like there were certain songs like I thought Naked or
Yeah.
Salt were songs that really stood out to me as like this is a artist who seems to have vision, seems to have really something to say. And then there's songs like Tattoo, which I was literally like, this could have been written by like a 13-year-old. I thought it
Yeah.
was really bad, and that's the thing is the album was just so consistent. It felt like she struggled almost with wanting to make something in the same vein as Charlie XCX, obviously not up to that level, but like kind of be weird and poppy.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of had this huge hit and was like, well, there's a formula here, and I'm trying to recapture that, and was
Right.
kind of stuck in between. It felt.
Yeah, she has this working relationship with this producer, Circuit, I think is how you say it, Cirkut, who's a disciple of Dr. Luke. So you can tell that they were trying to, yeah, probably fix that. I think the closest they got is probably Born to the Night in
Mm-hmm.
terms of trying to find that hit formula again. But yeah, to your point about some of the songs, there's some really cliche songwriting here, pop songwriting. It's
Yeah,
just,
totally.
it's not, it's lowbrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay sometimes, but I actually think this album's a bit overproduced at times. Like I feel like they touched her vocals a lot. Like
Yeah.
I, from what I can tell, she has a pretty good voice, but you don't almost get it all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I also agree. Naked stood out to me, closest thing she has to a ballad on this.
Yep.
And like I said, there's some songs that are close to the banger status you get with Sweet But Psycho, but I think she's still kind of trying to find that identity. And like she's been compared a lot to like Fame era Lady Gaga, partially due to like her visual aesthetic and stuff,
Yep.
but she's not nearly as weird
Oh.
as Gaga was even at that time, even if Gaga still made a lot of conventional sounds for what 2009 pop music on the radio was.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she doesn't need to have like superstar success here in the States. Look at someone like Carly Rae Jepsen, who is not a chart presence really at all, but has a lot of fans and makes good music. That's not a problem. Even Charlie XCX for the most part isn't a chart force, but
Yep.
I think she's still kind of finding that identity. And I mean, when you have a song with Sweet But Psycho giving you residuals, I guess you can take that time. It's all right. But yeah, I kind of wanted more from this.
Yeah, but I think for a debut album, like to have even a couple songs that can we're talking about as being songs that we thought were pretty good, had a good sound. I also thought, oh my god, like what happened or whatever what that song title was kind of interesting just in terms of like concept, you
Oh my
know.
God, what's happening?
Yeah, what's happening, especially she has like that like spoken word like breakdown, which is kind of like an interesting performance. But yeah, I think this leaves a little bit to be desired, but I don't know. Still some good stuff. We're gonna add Naked to our Nostalgia Best of 2020 playlist, so follow that on Spotify.